Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Explode Your Expert Business Show. And today I'm here with the one and only Terry Tam. How you doing, Terry?
Fantastic, Simone. Great to be on the show.
Great to have you here. We have been having many conversations in the past a few weeks around Facebook ads and the
Yes.
work that we'll be doing together. So really excited about that.
Yeah.
And I want to have you on the show because I've checked your work around Facebook advertisement and your experience, and it is impressive.
Thank you.
And there are not many people that can provide as many case studies or that know the platforms that well. So I want to understand from you, like, where did your passion of like marketing or paid advertisement came from?
Interesting you asked that because, I'm not one of those guys that just recently got into internet marketing. Actually, I just connected with my professor from 1997, and I was back in Australia in
Mhm.
Griffith University in Queensland. I'm not sure whether you know where that place is, but it's
I
near the
have an
Gold
idea.
Coast.
I have an
Yeah,
idea. Yeah.
Brisbane, Gold Coast kind of area.
Yeah.
And it was the first, as far as I know, it's the first ever master's degree in internet marketing in the
Wow.
world, right? And I was studying it back then.
Hmm.
So I've always loved direct marketing,
Yeah.
and I picked up a book in my undergrad years, and the internet came along, and this course, the first in the world, came along, and I'm like going, that's it. This is what I want to do.
Wow.
And since 1997, I've been doing internet marketing until now.
Um, you know what? Um, I I don't know if I wasn't prepared for this, but I would love to know like what milestones in the evolution, like if you have to break down, let's say from when you started. Sometimes there are some what we call inflection points or
Hmm.
milestones that change an entire industry.
Hmm.
If you look back at the history of internet marketing,
Mm.
what inflection points or what like milestones, major milestones, can you identify that shape the industry as we know it now?
Well, that's yeah, we're talking ancient history now, kind of thing, but
Then when the pyramids
yeah.
were built,
I think it was around 1995-ish that, someone started like accumulating email lists, right? And they started, just blasting out like to millions of people selling ebooks, and they made like millions of dollars, right? So, uh, this was all before the anti-spam laws and all that. So
Yeah.
you could swipe people's email addresses and spam them like you wish, and people actually responded, right? Because there were so few emails coming in those days. Like,
Mhm.
oh, I've got a message. Wow, this is so cool.
The same that is happening now, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Same thing.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that was the first milestone, and I think once and before, when the year 2000 hit, I remember a lot of people were saying, even before that, people were saying, oh, this internet thing is a fad. And when 2000 hit, the stock market crashed and all that, and people were saying, well, I told you so, this internet thing is a fad, you should get out of it, all that kind of stuff. But look at where we are now today, right? um,
Yeah.
and that was in the year 2000. And I think back then, when Amazon, obviously, that was a big thing in the internet, even back then, when they first started their world's biggest bookstore thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
That was, I think, definitely a milestone in e-commerce.
Yeah.
And the other thing that was huge milestone, I believe, back then, before we Google, it was all this Alta Vista, Excite, Yahoo, and all that stuff. And you got crappy results from searching online, right? And it took forever to load, right,
I
for the
remember.
page to load.
I remember.
So I think Google was also a game changer, right? And then when Google Ads came out, I remember I started using that in 2002, 2003.
Right.
That was an absolute game changer as well, because we were getting clicks for like 5 cents back then. And now obviously that's like impossible.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a huge game changer as well. Then when Facebook kind of came out, launched their whole, platform, advertising platform, in terms of the advertising. At first, we tried it back in 2008, 2009, didn't quite work, but then fast forward, I think it really, really took off in around 2013, thereabouts. Then it really, really started, changing the landscape for online digital marketers as well. I mean, there's a lot of things that
Yeah,
happened
of
between now
course. But
since
these are
then.
like
It's
the
kind of like,
major, these are the
yeah, yeah,
major milestones that shape the
yeah,
industry, and that's where we are today. So,
yeah, yeah.
what's let's look at what are things that people think that they're working right now, but they're actually not working. Some
Okay.
people sometimes they will go into paid advertisement and have
Mm,
maybe they've seen something that was working maybe last year or a few years ago, and they
mm-hmm,
still think that works. So
mm-hmm.
what changes have you found that people think they're working right now, but they actually are not? Before we move into what's working right now.
Okay, so are we talking about advertisement or marketing in
Yeah, now
general?
let's talk about paid ads. Like, let's focus
Okay,
on the paid
right.
advertisement.
Okay.
As I want this episode to be focused on that.
Yep. All right. So with paid ads, obviously nowadays it's getting increasingly competitive. So it's not like back in the day where you could just say promote a free ebook, and then people will download and then you get thousands of leads. You still can do that, but the cost is way higher now. So I think now people need to be smarter when they advertise. They need to strategize, not just the ads, but the whole funnel as well, right? What you plan to upsell, what is the strategy behind that?
Yeah.
Don't just go out and just, let's run an ad because we want to take massive action, right? It's fine, but if you don't have a strategy, you're going to burn a lot of money very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So it's about smarter marketing now. And it's also about not just utilizing, say, Facebook ads itself, but also utilizing the many other stuff around Facebook. I won't even go to Google, but utilizing, say, Messenger, right? Combining
Yeah.
that with email, combining that with retargeting ads, combining video and text and image, right? So I think it's important more than ever before to understand where your prospects are at, who your prospects are, and where they are at right now. What is the conversation going on in their heads right now, right? And meet them at that point. Meet them, whether it's like, just an example, they're like, okay, if you're a coach, you might be thinking, how do I shift my business onto the internet? And if you provide that service, you need to make your ads so that your message actually helps them go from here to here, right? So understanding where they're at and where they want to be is become so much more important. Like, you can't just go and be product focused anymore. You have to be really, really customer centric and get into their heads.
So
I think that's a huge
is about the
difference.
journey, is about
Yeah, the
understanding what
customer journey.
the customer journey. And it's
Correct.
really interesting how a lot of the times everything comes back to basics. What
Yes,
is the
yes,
essence of your business? Do you know your clients?
yes.
What's their customer journey? Because whether you
Yeah,
do it offline, online, with paid advertisements, on the stage, or whatever you're doing, that's what gets someone to raise their hand and say, yes, I want it.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
in. I want to buy. So
yeah.
I want to know now more of, in your experience, what are some of the in the paid ads world for coaches, speakers, trainers, because I know you specialize also working
Hmm.
with people like myself.
Yeah.
What are the things that you find that are working really well in terms of, can be funnel, ads,
Hmm.
and so on?
Hmm. Okay, let's start with the ads, because if we go to the funnels, it's kind of
Oh
like,
yeah, no, let's go
how
to the
deep
ads.
do you go,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's true. That's true. Let's go with the ads. I gotta be too excited.
Yeah.
Like, it's my opportunity to pick your brain. So
Yeah. We only have 30 minutes. We can't cover it all.
that's true.
But
That's true.
okay, so I think for coaches, for experts and all that, I market a lot of experts, a lot of speakers, and to go to whether it's a webinar, a challenge, or something like that. What we have found that is working well, number one, is long form ads, right? So not the ads that like say, oh, hey, I'm putting on a webinar on how to do X, Y, Z. Click here now, right? That kind of stuff. Yeah. First of all, you don't get quality participants. Secondly, you're not gonna get results like you used to do, like say 3-4 years ago anymore.
Yeah.
So long form ads is important, like storytelling type ads. That's very important. So I have a basic formula that I've learned from someone else that I've always used this formula, one of my mentors. So the formula is called the EPIC formula.
Okay.
So E is for epic, right? EPIC.
Yeah.
E is for engage. So the first part of your long copy ad needs to engage your audience, right? Get their attention, stop the scroll, right? That is the objective. P is for presenting the problems. So in the second section, you present what is the current challenge? What are the things that your prospect is going through, right? So you can identify with them so that they know, hey, Simone actually understands what I'm going through right now. He must know his stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then I is illustrate your solution. Okay. So why is your solution different to other people out there? I mean, there are so many people teaching others, coaches to get better results. Why is your solution so different, right?
Yeah.
And C is the call to action. So this is where you need to tell people why they need to take action now, right? So that maybe next year your coaching business still exists and is prospering, not that it's like, and you're not in the same place anymore, right? So future pacing is quite useful in this case, but also an incentive to take action now with a limited amount of time, limited amount of quantity, that kind of stuff. So that is the structure that I always use in my ads.
So
and
that's the EPIC formula, which is engagement, problem, illustrate the solution, and call to action.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, now is there. Now is there. I'm gonna remember it forever.
Awesome.
That repeated it. Can you give an example of maybe a copy that you have built that follows this formula? It don't need like word by word, but just to have an idea of how would it look like for someone who's listening right now that said yes, but how do I actually see this happening? How do I put it?
Okay, well, you're putting me on the spot here because normally we take a lot of time to research and stuff. But okay, so say for example, when you put out the E section, right, it's basically the first 2 or 3 lines that you see on Facebook at the top, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about, I guess, the big promise, right? So in one of my recent ads I wrote for client is like, okay, here's how you can grow your coaching business without spending hours writing blog posts and, writing a book and getting certificates, for example, right? That's the general idea, okay? And that's not the exact language.
Sure. No, I just need like the overview and just to see how that looks like.
I think a good formula to use at that point is maybe how to get X without Y, which is the challenge or the pain, right? The X is the benefit that they're looking for, right? That formula is a proven, formula that works all the time, right? So stick to the tried and true. Don't get too fancy. That is something that works, right? So that's the first part. And then with the present the problem is like, okay, you might kind of tell your own story about, hey, how I used to I was told by many people that I need to write blog posts, that I need to get on podcasts, I need to like post on social media and have like 1 million followers in order to grow my coaching business. I did all that. I spent hours, and guess what? I completely burnt out. And I had like 2 or 3 complaining clients. That's all I got. Uh, and then that's when you pivot
Yeah.
into, say, illustrate the solution. And there you can then, if you're telling a story, you can say, well, that's when I met Simone and he introduced me to his three-step system that
Hmm.
actually helped me to, one, you know, save a lot of time, two, build my brand, and three, um, got me into the best publications without too much effort.
Yeah.
And from there on, that opened doors for my business like I could not believe. And now I am living the life, the dream,
Got it.
right? Okay. So, and
And
then the final section is the call to action, right?
and then it's like, so sign up. So I'm gonna be talking about this strategy on this
Yeah.
webinar or
Yeah.
on this ebook or on this
Yes.
training, and then take it from there.
Correct.
That's very powerful. And
Yeah.
I'm curious now about to know, like, why do you think that and of course is difficult because you're not in the head of the person who's reading the ads, but you mentioned that the long form converts more than the short form. Why do
Mhm.
you think is the case?
Because not too, I think most people go for the short formats. That's probably one. Number two, if you write your long form engagement ads really well, this with this epic formula, people basically are at the point where once they read the thing, they're like, okay, they come to a
Mm,
point where they are so involved in the story, they're like almost like, here, take my money kind of thing.
yeah.
They want to take action already. And of course, the same structure can apply to your video ads. Say, some people are not good at copywriting,
Mm,
but hey, use the same structure, get on the video and apply the same formula, and you will also get results. In fact, sometimes video gets better results because they're seeing your face, they know
yeah.
they feel they can connect with you and trust you, right? So that's another strategy as well that people can use.
That's very true, and I love the way in which you described like why it converts more, because you have if everyone is using short form, then people get used to it, and then so
Yeah,
they think, it's just another one of those. Is
yeah,
another one of these.
yeah.
Is not something different. But I remember like the ads that I remember,
Mm,
they are the one that gave me something different. They are the one
yes,
either that made me laugh, or
yes,
they were presenting a story in a way which I can connect with that
yes,
person. And that's what got me to say, actually, I would love to learn from this person because he's talking to me.
yeah,
Is that he
yeah.
understands my problem, or she understands my problem, my situation, and I want to talk with and I want to learn from that person. And you're right. And by the time I'm at the bottom, it doesn't just become another webinar or another thing I'm subscribed for, becomes something
Hmm.
actually I really want to learn from.
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
want to listen.
exactly.
I really want to
Yeah,
watch.
yeah. So, and just to add to that, just to put the cherry on top of the
Let's put the
pie,
cherry. Let's put the
let's put the
cherry.
cherry. I think when you're creating the ads, and when we create the ads, one thing we always ask ourselves is that, is this ad giving value to the reader,
Hmm,
right? So is it giving them a aha moment? Is it adding value to their
yeah,
lives, right?
yeah, yeah.
So when people get value in the ad just by reading your 400, 500 word ad, they're like, wow, I just learned something new, right?
Yes.
They're like, oh gosh, I must sign up for this webinar or this 5-day challenge or whatever it is, or his ebook, because I just got so much value from just reading his ad. So imagine what I could get if I join his 1 hour
Love it.
webinar.
I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Um, uh, one more thing. What else have you found? One more thing that works right now in the world of paid advertisement for filling up webinars or
Hmm.
um, selling ebooks or
Okay.
checklists. What have you
Yeah.
found that works?
Look, one of the things, is that, well, let me talk about one of the common mistakes people make, and they think, oh, Facebook ads doesn't work.
Right.
Is the fact that most people do not test enough hooks, enough headlines. That is
Hmm.
one of the key issues, right? They write one ad and they're like, oh, let's put this ad up and let's try it with 5 different images. But then that ad may not resonate with your target market, and then you
Right.
lost them, right? And then they're thinking, oh, it's costing me $50 to get one person to sign up for my webinar. This is not worth it, right?
Hmm.
But so, say for example, recently, just last week, this week actually, we wrote 10 different headlines for a client, and the campaign wasn't working too well. So we wrote 10 new headlines for them,
Yeah.
right? Put them all to the test, and now we got one winning headline, which is converting at almost half the cost of our previous campaign, right?
Yeah.
So I think people don't test enough stuff, and they expect, oh, I'll write one ad and they'll bring me millions. It doesn't happen.
Well, I think that's also one of the reasons why a lot of people fail with Facebook ads, because they do everything themselves.
Yeah,
And then now they have not only to be experts in their own business, but also now
yeah,
they need to become business ads Facebook ads experts, or
yeah,
Google ads experts.
yeah.
And it's a full time job taking care
Oh
of those
yeah,
ads. Is that
100%.
as you mentioned, there might be an ad that maybe works now, and then 2 weeks down the line stops working.
Great,
So
agreed.
what do you do there?
Yeah, yeah. So you have to constantly refresh your ads.
Hmm.
Yeah, and good that you brought that up, because one of the reasons why people get Facebook ad bans is because they run the same ad over and over again for a long period of time, and people get sick of it. They hide the ad. They
Mm.
complain about the ad, and eventually the ad account gets banned.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Um, so that is important. It's important to get this variety, so then people can have different hooks. Okay, so
Mhm.
I'm for Terry, for people that want to know more, because I know we need to wrap up now. So for people
Yeah.
that want to know more about Facebook ads, how it works, or how they can work with you, maybe they want to fill up their webinars, they want to fill up their when we go back into the real world again. Maybe they want to fill up their events. I'm really looking forward to that day.
Yeah.
So, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Okay, they can email me at terry@radical-marketing.com, or just go to my website, radical-marketing.com. We've created this little community of people and that get trained, who want to actually grow their business rapidly. So it's a small community. We're growing it right now. So but my main business is the agency, but
Yeah.
I'm happy to give your subscribers a maybe a 2-month access to this community, where we normally charge like $47 a month, just to give
Mhm.
them some extra training. We got a whole bunch of recordings there, just to hopefully add value to your listeners as
That's
well.
brilliant. If you send over the link, then I'll put definitely in the show notes. So for everyone that
Yeah.
wants to check out as well, on one side, if you're interested in Terry's agency work, then reach out to him. And the email is in the show notes. The link of the website is in the show notes. And as well, if you are interested in joining the community as well, we will put the link in the show notes there. It has been a pleasure. Thank you very much, Terry.
Thank
Definitely
you.
took a lot out of it, in particular around the winning formula of writing ads. For everyone who has been listening or watching, make sure that you write it down, give it a go, and let me know. Let Terry know. How did you find it? Send us the ads that you've created. We'd love to see the impact that these
Yeah.
interviews are making in your life and your business. Terry, once again, thank you very much for being on the show.
Okay. Thanks, Melanie.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening. If you haven't subscribed, then make sure you subscribe and leave us a review. Let us know what you thought about this interview. And as well, if you have any requests of other topics that you want me to cover, then please let me know. And I'll see you in the next episode. And always remember that together we grow exponentially. Ciao.